Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the American Nightmare podcast. This is episode 60, recorded Thursday, March 23rd, 2023.
If I had hair, I'd be swinging it around right now.
I'm moshing like madness.
But I have no hair, so the little flaps in the front, they're bouncing around some.
Nice. All right. Hey, before we get started, I just want to mention one thing to all of our viewers that if you haven't seen Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series, it's been on Netflix for some time, but it's going to be leaving in April. So if you haven't seen it, all 3 seasons are on Netflix, so check it out.
Definitely check it out. You should go watch it. If you haven't started watching it, binge that shit before it goes away.
I like watching her, too.
Oh, yeah. My favorite scene, hands down, is when she's smoking weed out of the shotgun.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
love
she
it.
gets over. The demon takes her over.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
A little sexy time.
I was like,
yeah.
let me hit pause here for a second.
All right. Let's get started with some horror news. Evil Dead Rise premiered at South by Southwest, and the reactions are overwhelmingly positive.
Nice.
Very excited about that. Evil Dead Rise made its premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and I've been following that on Twitter, and it seems like everybody is tweeting about how much they thought this movie was great. My favorite tweet out of them all, the guy says, "What can I say? Evil Dead Rise is the only other Evil Dead film I would give 5 stars to since Evil Dead 2. The hype is real. This is a grand slam. See it big, see it loud, see it in a packed house, and get ready to scream."
Nice.
Awesome.
Craig, we're going to have to go to that one.
For sure.
Absolutely. I need to get those tickets. And I know that they're doing special screenings this week, too. I don't know if you
Really?
have anything available at theaters near you, but I
don't
did
know.
see they are doing a sneak peek this week in some theaters around the nation.
Sweet. When is it released fully? Like 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, April, what is it, like April 20th or so? Or no.
Oh, so it's like
It's
3
like
weeks.
near the end of April.
Okay. Got a bit to go yet then, so.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro is going to be making a new version of Frankenstein for Netflix.
Cool.
And apparently, according to Deadline, Mia Goth, Oscar Isaac, and Andrew Garfield are top prospects to star in this film.
Interesting.
Lips
That's
are
a good-
sealed at the moment on who the actual cast will be, but that sounds like quite the cast if that's going to be it.
Sure does. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had a chance. Guillermo del Toro, Pinocchio on Netflix.
Excellent
Excellent.
show. I loved it.
Didn't it get some nods? at the
Yeah, it won an
Emmys?
Oscar for Best Animated Film, I believe.
Dude, it
Yeah.
took years to make that because it was hand animated.
It
Was
is
it
so
6?
good, though. So good.
Fantastically done. And you guys are close to New York City. Momo has the display of that stuff right now. You want to go
Really?
to the Modern
Okay.
Museum of Art, all
Yeah.
of the set pieces and all that shit, they deconstructed it and reset it up in Momo, so go check it out.
We actually might be going up Monday. That's funny.
Cool.
Get your tickets to Momo, baby, and check it out.
All right.
I think it was awesome because they made Pinocchio just look like hideous, and he was such a dumbass, like, totally different than the Disney version of
Absolutely, yeah.
it was great. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was probably one of the best animated films I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Megan 2.0 director Gerard Johnstone wants to try and replicate the success of the first film. He says he's got high hopes, and they're going to be filming this shortly.
Wow, that's quick.
Yes.
Did they release the editor's cut yet?
Yes.
Oh, it is?
On Blu-ray. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I got to check it. I want to see the unrated version.
Exactly.
I liked it enough that I'll watch it again. Like, it's only been like about a month since I've seen it, but I'll watch it again because I want to see the unrated version.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the kill scenes, I'm hoping the kill scenes are a little more gory.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly they are,
PG-13
yeah.
shit kind of, I understand they want to have a wider audience, but come on, man.
Yeah, and it did well, which is great.
Well, the thing
but,
is, we've already proven, like the market has already shown, rated R doesn't lose you viewers.
Right.
Look at the record numbers that Chapter 1 created. That
Or
was
Deadpool.
insane. Deadpool. These are apologize. These are rated R films that made killer numbers.
Yep.
You can do it. If you got a good film, you can do rated R and not lose any audience.
There's the issue. There's the issue. Is if it's
Gotta
not
have a good film.
Yeah.
Shudder has announced the premiere date of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs season 5. It's going to premiere this April.
Sweet. Do we know what date the Chainsaw Awards are? That was just about this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Or was that closer to May?
Let me see.
Because I voted.
I believe it was closer. So did I. I believe it was closer to May. Let's see. Chainsaw Awards.
Greg, did you vote?
I didn't have Shudder at the time, I don't think.
Oh. You could. I think you could just do it from. I think they sent out like an email. Well, maybe.
All right.
Maybe you didn't get the.
Well,
email
I have
first.
it now. Yeah, so I don't. It's probably too late. But
Yeah, I think they closed the voting.
Yeah, the voting did close already. Let's see. I don't see a date.
Yeah.
I see the list of nominees was announced January 27th. They sent out all the awards for everybody for the 2023 award nominee list so people could vote. And it looks like it must be just tallying the votes because I don't see anything for dates of when this will be.
Yeah, I think it was like around May last year.
Yeah, I believe you.
Maybe like Memorial Day weekend or something. Like
Yeah.
it was around there, if I remember correctly.
I am going to post a link here for you to check out the website for Robert Eggers. He is going to be remaking Nosferatu.
it's
Sweet.
going to be good.
Yeah, Nosferatu is the gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman in 19th century Germany and a ancient Transylvanian vampire who stalks her, bringing untold horror with him. This will be starring Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu.
Nice.
There you go.
Oddly enough, I looked up a little history of this. So
Klaus
Nosferatu...
Kinski? No Klaus Kinski returning?
No. I looked this up. So Nosferatu was remade once before in 1979 by Werner Herzog. I'm sure some people are aware of that.
Klaus Kinski was
Klaus
in it,
Kinski
right?
played the title character. And in 2000, that film Shadow of the Vampire was a fictional account of the making of
Willem
Nosferatu,
Dafoe, right?
starring Willem Dafoe
Willem
playing
Dafoe.
Max Schreck as an actual vampire. So it's interesting that such a film that's so old, one of the first silent horror films, is so popular that it keeps getting retouched, remade, or reimagined in one way or
Yeah,
another.
right. That's kind of cool that it's carried on
because-
for that long.
That vampire is so iconic too. I think, right? It still
Yeah.
it holds up today.
Oh,
right?
absolutely,
It's creepy looking.
absolutely. And my understanding is that the original film was so severely damaged, it took time for them to fix the original silent film and make it something that people can see. Now, my understanding is the age of that film at this point, copyright laws don't apply, right? So there must be somewhere that you can get a copy of the original
I would think so.
film somewhere. Maxine, there's a bunch of casting rumors going around. They're going to be ready to film this soon.
Nice.
The worldofreal.com website says that rumors are now circulating that Kevin Bacon and Helena Bottom Carter will be joining the cast for this third film.
What? Are they gonna play like aged porn stars?
Don't know, but this is what we know, is that Mia Goth is reprising her titular role in the film, and it's said to take place in 1985, just 5 years after the events of X.
She's making porn, no doubt.
Yep. Goth Maxine sets out for Hollywood in trying to find some fame.
Nice.
I would imagine that those films have made such success at this point that a lot of actors that love these films are probably vying for a position or a role in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel is starting to film now, according to Twitter. The Ghostbusters Twitter account posted some photographs along with the director Gil Kennan and the producer Jason Reitman, who's going to be producing and not directing this time, posted a picture in front of the firehouse that said "Back at the Firehouse, Day One."
Nice. I liked the last one. I thought it was pretty good.
It was well done. I think it was very well done.
Yeah.
The work that they did to have Spengler return was tasteful. It wasn't. I was afraid it was going to be, cringy kind of fucking making a guy that's the actor is dead kind of reappear.
Yeah.
But I think it was very tastefully done.
Definitely.
Tearjerker.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Dude, Ghostbusters, I remember the day that came out. I remember, like, it was during the summertime, and I remember going with my friends to go see it at the movies
Yeah.
and being excited about it and just loving that film. Jordan Peele's fourth film is in the works, according to Variety.com. It's expected to have a Christmas 2024 release date. No information has been around, not even the title, the genre, or what stars will be in it. But he's been tight-lipped when people have asked him in recent interviews what this new film will be. Is it going to be horror? Is it going to be science fiction? Is it going to be more like, what was that?
Comedy?
Yeah, a comedy horror, maybe? Who knows?
Nope.
Last
it's
month-
on
go ahead.
Amazon Prime too. They just,
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't
well,
watched
they
it
just
yet.
put it on Amazon Prime, so
Oh, okay.
you can watch it.
We talked last month about Eli Roth and his Thanksgiving film.
Yeah.
He posted on Twitter.com, Sony Pictures feed, that it has begun. There will be no leftovers, he says. Hashtag Thanksgiving movie.
Some bigger names jumped on the project too. Didn't
Really?
they?
I didn't
so.
hear anything about any names or anything. I did see that they did start filming it. And if we're going by what the Grindhouse, trailer indicates, that this is going to be, a slasher film that takes place somewhere in like Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Because they were like having Thanksgiving dinner. It was somewhere in Massachusetts. Anyway, the plot details
Getting
of
the
this thing
Patriots on?
are very thin. But we do know it's going to be a slasher film, right? Taking place in Thanksgiving.
Is it supposed to be out like in 2024
There's
Thanksgiving?
no
or-
information. The only thing we know for sure, according to Variety, is that most of the details of all this stuff is under wraps. But they do know that Patrick Dempsey is going to be playing a sheriff role in this film.
And
Cool.
Gina Gershon and Patrick Dempsey. Yeah.
Cool. I would assume they're not going to be have it ready for this Thanksgiving, but you think they would release it closer to the holiday, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
there's
They
would
no-
could release it for Halloween, probably, right? Or
Yeah, there you go.
That would be good. But like I said, there's nothing here. All we know is I went to my Grindhouse Blu-ray set and I pulled out because the extras
watched
were the
it.
trailers, and they had that catchphrase. It says, "Thanksgiving carving board out of the creating a Thanksgiving carving board out of the town's inhabitants. There will be no leftovers. Thanksgiving." So I'm kind of stoked for that.
That should be fun.
Yeah. Rumors have been swirling around that Legendary Pictures is going to be remaking Faces of Death.
I did see that. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
are they going to do that? I don't
According
know.
to the Hollywood Reporter, Barbie Ferreira and Darkray Montgomery, which you know him from Stranger Things Season 3. He was the big brother that was a douchebag.
Oh,
yeah.
and he turned into like that demon then,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the original
Okay.
movie was released theatrically.
Yeah,
But then it went
was
right
just
to video in the
found
1980s.
footage, though, wasn't it? It was just like found footage.
No,
Or it was
as
supposed
it
to be
turns
found
out, it was
footage.
supposed to be found footage, but it says, according to the Hollywood Reporter that I read there, it says it was supposedly found footage, but in reality, all of the scenes were staged.
Oh, wow.
The film had exact effects and all the scenes were staged. Everything was, it was a film created, written, directed with actors. Everything was staged. It was meant to look like found footage. None of it was.
Wow.
And the
It's
whole
pretty impressive for the time.
fuck yeah. Because I was as a kid, I was convinced what I was seeing.
Everybody
was
thought
fucking
it was real.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was real.
But the whole purpose of releasing this film was to kind of make people outraged, revulsed, and get it banned. And it turns out,
The monkeys,
even though it
remember that?
advertises being banned in 52 countries, it was
Yeah.
only actually banned in 5 countries. And the most brilliant effect of this film of all is, according to the Hollywood Reporter, this film, its popularity and its underground cult following in the 80s and the VHS trade, it was minting money. Like, the dude who made this film was just raking cash in hand over fist.
That'd be a good like documentary about that guy, you know, like
Dude,
and
like
how
what
he was
made him
like
come up with the idea? What made
Yeah.
him like
Yeah.
think that this was going to be the winning idea for like the VHS
especially in that
market?
day and age when there was no internet, like how do you like the word of mouth on that, like you know
Yeah, no, it was like I had to see it, right?
yeah, everybody thought it was
dude.
real, and everyone was like, yeah,
All I remember is when it came down, and I think they talk about this in like those Into the Darkness or Fear of the Dark, you know, that documentary that's on.
Yeah.
They talk about this all the time.
In Search of Darkness.
In Search of Darkness. There you go. They talk about this all the time. And in the 80s, you remember, we'd go into the VHS store. You would typically buy something based on the cover art. You had
Yeah.
no clue what the fuck these films were. And Faces of Death just had a fucking skull on the front of it that said, Faces of Death, banned in 52 countries. And you're
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, I want
There
this
was,
film.
there was more than one, too, wasn't there? Faces of Death 2 and Faces of Death
I think
3,
there was a
too?
couple.
There was
yeah.
four. There were 4 Faces of Death fucking films. So, yeah.
Well, why not? If you made that much money off the first one,
Hell yeah. It's a money
make
machine,
up some
bro.
more shit and sell it as real. Because there was no way to debunk shit back then. There was no Snopes or you know that kind of shit.
Exactly. You had no clue what was real.
I've heard that this is real.
Yes.
Oh no way! Let's watch that shit.
All right. According to Empire Online or Empire Magazine, Bruce Campbell is hidden somewhere in the new Evil Dead Rise.
I saw that, and they're offering $50 to the first person that
Can find
finds
him.
where he is.
Yeah. That's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
but like, yeah, I wonder where.
now when I'm at the theater, I'm going to be fucking trying to find where the fuck he is. He's got to be an extra or something in there. We mentioned last month that House of 1,000 Corpses is now 20 years old, and that they are going to be releasing a special Steelbox edition along with a collector's edition. The Steelbox edition is going to be available Blu-ray and exclusively through Best Buy. But Rob Zombie tweeted on Instagram, said he was going to record a new commentary track 20 years after the film was made.
Yeah, I saw that. That's gonna be kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
To look back at it like the 20 years later, and you know, utilize change differently and all that stuff.
So the 20th anniversary
cool.
Blu-ray set will be released on April 11th, 2023.
Nice. I'm gonna have to
You'll
get
be able
that.
to get this special Steelbook version exclusively through Best Buy with this new director's commentary. On Rob Zombie's Instagram, he posted, "In the studio today recording new director's commentary for House of 1,000 Corpses. The last director's commentary I did was 20 years ago." He showed his parking spot that had his name, and then he showed the parking spot next to him was Chuck Norris. That right there is interesting in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, that is it for news. Do you guys got anything?
I got two things. One, they released the final trailer for Renfield.
Oh, nice.
It looks really good.
Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think it just dropped this week. Really funny. It's going to be a great movie. That's another one that's coming out this month. So April's going to be a good month for horror. I just saw a trailer today called the Black Demon. It's coming out this summer. It's about like a giant shark.
Oh shit!
Attacking like an abandoned oil rig out in the middle of the ocean where a guy and his family go to because he's supposed to go there and inspect it.
Nice.
Looks really good.
Really?
Yeah, it actually looks really good. Check it out. The Black Demon.
All right.
And the final thing is, and we were talking about this before we started recording. I watched Spoonful of Sugar on Shudder last weekend, and it's a trippy movie, but it's really good. Slow burn, but the final act is just over the top. So
Nice.
good shit. That's it for me.
All right.
Craig?
I got nothing
All right.
Nothing.
this month. Nope.
All right. Let's move
Alrighty.
on to 5 flicks to watch. This month it's me, and I'm picking 5 flicks on Hulu. The great thing about Hulu is I've got almost all except for one that I'm about to mention here are Hulu originals.
Do
Oh,
they have
nice.
a pretty big arsenal? I don't have Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu's got a lot of good stuff.
Hulu has a lot of great stuff, but if you don't have Hulu yet, I would hold out on subscribing at the moment because Disney owns 60% of Hulu, Comcast owns 30%. the contract is coming up to a close where Disney will be obligated to buy out the last 30% of Hulu from Comcast. Disney, Bob Iger just returned to Disney to try and make Disney more profitable and reorg the company. They're doing a lot of things. Things I'm upset about when it comes to Marvel, things I'm upset about when it comes to the theme parks, whatever. But there's rumors going around that Bob Iger may sell that portion of Hulu they own to Comcast so that Comcast will own it outright. If they do that, that means all the Fox media stuff either may or may not remain there. It may move over to Disney Plus, in which case all these horror movies would be available on Disney Plus.
That would be okay then.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Now, because if you go to other countries like in Europe, there's no Hulu over there with Disney stuff in it, Fox stuff. Instead, you have what's called the Disney Plus Star. In the Disney Plus app, there's a star menu for adults. When you click that, you get all the Fox horror movies and adult movies and all that shit.
Got you.
All the
Yeah,
FX
but
TV shows and whatnot.
There's good original content.
A lot of good original content. So let me mention a bunch of them. Number 1, Fresh.
Oh,
Fucking
great movie.
Love it.
That was my number 1 movie of 2022.
Yeah, great movie. And it's a Hulu original, and it's very well done.
Sebastian Stan was great.
Fucking amazing. That guy has such acting chops. Like all the shit that he was in, even the Tommy and what you call it thing, that he was in, the Pam and Tommy. That was fucking good.
I haven't seen that.
That is
He was
fucking
good?
great. It's fucking funny.
Yeah,
and good.
he played Tommy.
Yes.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I have to check that
He's
out.
a great actor. Like the guy can pretty much be in anything.
sure.
Another Hulu original, Little Monsters.
I haven't watched that one.
Fucking great. It's funny as fuck and it's gory as fuck. It's
Nice.
about a virus that turns children only into zombies.
That just came out this year, right?
No, that's actually 3 years old, right?
Oh, okay.
Might
All
even
right,
be
I'm thinking
older
of something
than.
else.
Yeah.
Check that one out.
Let me double check. Little Monsters. Let's see. 2019 it came out. Starring Lupita Nyong'o. She's like in Black Panther and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Alexander England, Josh Gad. He's funny as fuck in this movie. There's a lot of actors in it. Really good film. Came out in 2019.
Sweet.
It's a Hulu original. Prey. Another Hulu original. Fucking great film.
Awesome.
Hellraiser. Another Hulu original. Great film.
Good stuff.
The remake
Yes, the remake.
with the woman lead.
Yep. And
Good stuff.
The Wretched, which I'm not sure if you guys have watched that one. That's a great film. That's on Hulu right now. Very good film.
Nope, haven't
Yeah,
seen that one.
I watched The Wretched, yeah.
All right,
you enjoy
that's
it as
my
well?
top 5.
Yeah, it was good.
That's my
I'll have to check
5
that one
flicks to watch on Hulu.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Good movies there.
Excellent. All right, now this month we have top 5 period horror movies, and the order is Sal, Chris, Craig. I hope I picked this correctly. I know we were trying to aim around the movie of the month period as the.
No, you didn't have to.
Yeah,
do that.
no.
You could-
Period.
you could
Period
be
basically
anything.
just means that it was shot to take place in a certain
In
period
some
that
other
wasn't the
time
period
period.
that it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before it was
Yeah.
filmed, right?
All right.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so here are my top 5 period horror films. A lot of these are repeats for other lists.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. For sure they are.
My number 5, The Company of Wolves.
Okay.
It's a good one.
I recently just watched that again because it's on HBO Max right now, and
Yeah.
I think when I was a kid, that's where I originally watched it, was HBO.
That's a good one. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I remember that one.
Good film. That chick in there
That's
was
sort
super
of a
hot
Red
too.
Riding Hood vibe, right?
Yes, but with werewolves. Very good.
Yep.
My number 4, The Lighthouse.
Okay,
Trippy
good.
and weird, but very good.
Yeah, real weird. Great acting.
Yes, Willem Dafoe. Like, come on, man. That guy's
Yeah.
another fucking acting genius.
And so is what's his name? The other dude, Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Like
Pattinson,
Yeah.
he's a great actor too. He's been in some good shit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. My number 3, Sleepy Hollow.
Okay. Yep.
Nice.
My number 2, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Sweet.
That's like one of my top 5
You
vampire
could have went
movies
with any of
all
the
time.
Draculas, though, too, right? I mean,
Bram
Oh,
Stoker's
yeah.
Dracula is one of my favorites.
yeah. I always like the Christopher Lee ones.
Yeah, the Satanic Rites of Dracula, the Horror of Dracula. Yeah, those were all Hammer films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
What
Um,
was the one with Peter Cushing? That was a good one too. Was that a Christopher Lee one?
I believe it was. I believe it was. And my number one, The Witch.
go. Nice.
Yeah.
I love that
Nice.
one. I have a giant poster of that one in my living room. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. And I don't have any honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Okay.
So my list bounced around time periods here and there.
Yeah, mine did too.
And I tried to keep them in different decades, but I think a couple of them may hit the same. But again, period piece is subjective. It could be like just any. So anyway,
Sure.
my number 5 was The
50s,
Witch.
60s, 70s. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, so my number 5 was The Witch.
I love that film. Love that film.
Yeah, such a great movie. First, I think that was the first movie I've seen Anna Taylor-Joy in.
Right.
Like that, and she's had a great career like from that movie till now.
Dost thou want to live deliciously?
I have that T-shirt. My number 4 is The Conjuring, which takes place in this 1973, I think.
That's a good one.
That's a great movie,
Yeah.
great series. My number 3 is Pearl.
Okay.
It was just recently on one of my lists, and
So good.
excellent movie. Number 2 is X, takes place in the 70s.
There you go.
and those two are, I think, of my best movies of 2022 list.
Effective when
So
Maxine comes out, I'm sure, right?
Hell yeah.
yeah. And then my number 1, and this one's been on a ton of stuff, the Fear Street trilogy, which I think the final one is 1666. So
Yeah.
that.
Dude, that has been on all of our lists for the past couple months, man. We find some way to squeeze that into one.
And
of the
and it made number 1 on this list. I mean, it was like, if I'm gonna say 1666, but the entire series really was a period series. So, and then I had one that I threw in as an honorable mention just for fun, Overlord, because it took
That
place
was a
in
good one,
Nazi
too.
Germany.
That was a good one too.
During World War II,
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
we all saw that one in the theater.
Yep.
yeah, we did. That was an impressive. It was my first
Good.
zombie Nazi. Well, not
Yeah.
zombie Nazi horror, but
I'm going to say
that's my
zombie
list.
Nazi horror. That would have been.
Yeah, it almost
Dead
reminded
Snow.
you
Dead
of Wolfenstein sort of kind of.
yeah,
right?
it definitely
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the acting was great too. I mean, like it started out like it was like a World War II movie, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden became a horror movie.
Yep.
Remember they were all up in that plane, and the plane got shot down, and
Yeah.
I was
It
like,
was
holy
an
shit,
intense scene, right? It was like
It was,
the
yeah.
beginning of Saving Private Ryan.
for sure.
And then it
yeah.
just completely changed. Like the film just
yeah.
changed.
Then they're
Like, what the
then they're
fuck?
holed up in that French chick's house or whatever for like most of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good shit.
Good movie.
All right, so that's my list.
All right. Good list.
Very good.
Thanks.
All right. So number 5, I went from Hell.
Nice, that's a good
That
one.
is a
Johnny
good
Depp
one, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Christina Ricci.
Yep. No, that was Sleepy
No?
Hollow.
Oh, Sleepy Hollow.
Heather Graham was in.
Oh,
from-
okay.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
She
Gotcha.
was the lady.
That's
of the night.
the
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper. Yeah, I
Yep.
was combining the two.
Yep.
Although Heather Graham's pretty nice too.
So yeah, From Hell was number 5. Number 4, I went with The Witch.
Sweet. Made all 3 lists.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Hail Satan.
Number 3, The Woman in Black.
Oh, another good one.
That is a good
That movie. Went above my expectations too. I was like,
And
oh,
I'll tell you
Daniel
what-
Radcliffe, it's going to be soft. And
Daniel
Letterman's-
Radcliffe is another actor who doesn't get the props he deserves. That guy has expanded from Harry Potter and does
yeah,
some
for
really good
sure.
shit.
The best
And that's
film,
why I
the
was
best
like-
film that he's in is Swiss Army Man. You can't argue that.
No,
one.
you
yeah.
gotta watch Guns Akimbo is really
That's
good
good too. But Swiss Army Man,
Yeah.
the
No,
whole
Swiss
the whole
Army Man
farting
is-
to move across the water is
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah. And number 2, I went with Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Dude,
Oh, that's a good one.
just got that on Blu-ray. I just
Did
got
you?
that last week.
That's
on
That's
Blu-ray.
crazy.
going to be awesome
Yeah.
on Blu-ray. That's going to be awesome.
Dude, I just watched that. As a matter of fact, I got it, opened it up, showed it to my daughter. And I'm like, this movie as a kid gave me fucking wicked nightmares.
Yeah, right?
But I couldn't
For
remember
sure.
the film, and you can't find it anywhere. But finally, somebody
No.
brought it out.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's like the black hole from Disney too.
Exactly.
It's because it's Disney.
But the thing is,
They don't want to be attached to that
after
stuff
watching
anymore.
it, I'm like, no wonder this gave me fucking nightmares as a kid. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Love
Awesome.
it.
Was that a Ray Bradbury? Wasn't that a Ray
That's
Bradbury
right, Ray
book?
Bradbury's
Yeah.
book. Yeah,
That's cool that you found it.
yeah.
Yeah. Number 1, I went with Pearl for sure.
Nice.
Sweet.
For shizzle.
Me a goth.
Honorable mentions, I went with 1922, the Stephen King flick.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
nice.
that was cool. I
a
forgot
good
about that one.
on
We
Netflix,
watched that
yeah.
one we reviewed that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And Overlord.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice.
Nice.
2 lists.
Yep.
Yeah, 1922. I forgot about that one, man.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that too. And that was it was depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Depressing
it
horror
was
movie.
good. It was a good, solid movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, man. Like,
That cow in the well.
dude, the cow in the well. Not only that, like his hand after he injures his hand, and it's just like fucking infected.
And then he's got the roof caved in his house, and it's like
snowing
snowing in his
while he's
house,
like-
and he's
yeah,
just
what the
sitting there in his chair. I'm like, ugh, this.
That was a
a
great
different
movie,
kind of
man.
horror.
Totally forgot about that one.
Yep.
Very good. All right. Very well done. All right. Let's talk a little bit about our movie this month. Our movie this month is The Pale Blue Eye. This is a 2023 film that is a mystery and thriller drama, 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Netflix original.
A Netflix original. And it on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 63% by critics and a 69% by viewers.
So they viewed it about the same.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm surprised this one didn't go mainstream either, because there were
Yeah,
some
I
big
mean,
names.
Christian
There's
Bale.
5 or 6 big guys. Gillian
Bobby
Anderson.
Duvall.
was in-
Bobby Duvall makes an appearance in there. You know?
Yeah, Gillian Anderson was the mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor, you see him in a lot of films.
Oh yeah.
And who else?
Well, the guy who played Poe, he's lesser known, but he's been in
Yeah,
some stuff.
Yeah. What the hell was his name? Harry Melling? Harry Melling?
Oh, the guy that played the head of the school. You see him in a lot of Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
the
who
Colonel.
I'm talking about? The head
Colonel.
of West Point.
Yeah, the Colonel. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he has been in a bunch of stuff.
And I recognize I had to look it up when I was watching it, but I recognized the mom. That's
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, is that fucking Gillian Anderson from the X Files?
Yeah, she looked totally different. I don't know if it was makeup or she lost a bunch of weight for that,
Like I
or
said, I think it could have gone into mainstream theater. But
yeah, I think so.
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
glad they didn't. I mean,
So we should. It's kind of hard to talk about this movie without giving shit away because it's
oh yeah,
Well, let's
it's
A double
story driven.
twisted ending and
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So let's kind of just take a moment just first to talk about this movie. Let's see, I got to look
Okay.
up where can I
You can do the general description.
The
of
synopsis.
yeah,
Yeah,
let me
synopsis.
see.
Hey, shh.
I couldn't. I should have looked this up ahead of time, and but being the dumbass that I am, I did not. The synopsis for The Pale Blue Eye. This takes place in the 1800s, and it says here. Where the hell is it? Oh, West Point, 1830. In the early hours of a gray winter morning, a cadet is found dead. But after the body arrives at the morgue, tragedy becomes savagery when it's discovered that a young man's heart has been skillfully removed. Fearing irreparable damage to the fledgling military academy, its leaders turn to a local detective, Augustus Landor, played by Christian Bale, to solve the murder. Stymied by the cadets' code of silence, Landor enlists the help of one of their own to pursue the case. An eccentric cadet with a disdain for the rigors of military and a penchant for poetry. The young man named Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, is it based or loosely off of like one of his poems or something?
No, it is actually based off of a book of the same name, written by. Where the hell is it?
Edgar Allan Poe did go to West Point too. But people don't
Yeah,
know.
Yes.
I knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, just for a brief period of time, I guess.
What the
Not.
hell is it? Adapted from a 2003 novel of the same name by Louis Baynard.
Okay.
who most famously wrote Mr. Timothy, The Black Tower, The School of Night, Roosevelt's Beast, and some other books. It looks like he's a pretty prolific writer. So, it's based on a book written by someone else in 2003. But still, very, very must be a good book because this story was pretty good. The twist at the end really caught me off guard. And
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, it sure did.
what we'll do is, if you do not want to be spoiled, you like to watch this movie, go ahead and watch it, come back and listen to the rest of the podcast. Remember that if you're listening to this podcast on a podcast player that supports chapters, all of our podcasts are chapterized. You can skip right to the review of this when you're ready.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yes, we've been chapterizing our podcasts since 2018.
Oh.
And it's a pain in the ass to do, but I do it every time because it's convenient. I love podcasts that are chapterized.
It works for the podcast too, right?
Right.
We do this. And
Yeah, because then you can
Most
come
of the
right back
time
to
we-
this. That's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah, I thought the cinematography was awesome too. Like
Oh,
the camera work
beautiful.
was beautiful.
The set design, the mooding, the lighting,
Costumes.
set up a perfect situation. The fact it takes place during winter, and it's funny because here in California, in Southern California, it has been raining for fucking weeks. I was just saying to my daughter the other day, I feel as depressed as I would in the winter on the East Coast because it's fucking cloudy every fucking day, and I can't handle it. Normally,
Hey, we had some sun yesterday.
yeah, normally in Southern California here, fucking blue sky every day. You might get a rain shower every now and then, but this year, so much rain, so many clouds, it's pissing me off. But anyway, the day I watched this, it was rainy and cloudy.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
the mood made me feel like it was fucking winter, like I had to put a fucking house coat on because I was fucking freezing watching this film. And then like the coldness of the snow, and then when they're walking the snow,
ice house.
yeah, and the ice house, and the other thing I'm going to say is, I don't know if you're familiar with an ice house, and oddly enough,
No, that was my first experience with an ice
well,
house.
the way they depicted it was incorrect.
Really?
When I where my grandparents had their farm in Long Run in Franklin Township in Pennsylvania, there, just outside Lehighton, Long Run Road, they have a huge barn. And as a kid, I used to love this big barn. I was like, man, this barn is right next to a river. And then there was this like cement pond that I used to swim in on hot summer days. And as I got older, my grandfather filled me in. He said, hey, let me tell you about this barn and about this creek and about that cement pond. He says, every summer I divert all the water into that pond so you kids can swim and have fun and do whatever. He said, but what its real purpose is, it's a fucking ice house and an ice pond. There are 4 ponds. 2 of them are filled in with dirt, and the one that wasn't filled in is the one we would swim in. So what they would do is during the winter, divert the water into the ponds, let it freeze, cut it into big blocks. It then goes into the barn, and it's completely wrapped and buried in hay because that hay keeps the ice frozen straight through till August.
Wow.
And my
Really?
my grandfather
Hay.
said
Just hay.
Yeah.
The ice blocks would be there until August without melting.
Wow.
And he said as a kid, he would deliver ice with his father, and that was their whole business. So now that barn turned into like a butcher house when I was a teenager, and then once my grandfather died, they sold off all that property. But now I know how an ice house works, and I always ask him, like, how did the ice last all summer? He's like, no, just pack it in hay. And you'd be surprised because by the end of summer in August, you get down to the bottom of the pile, there'd still be full fucking blocks of ice barely melted because the hay
That's
insulated
crazy.
them. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So an ice house without hay, there was some on the floor, but if it's not packed against the ice, that's not a real ice house.
Maybe they ran out of budget for hay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, off on that tangent. But great cinematography. The sets were awesome. The environment felt real.
For sure.
And I was very kind of caught up in it. I very much enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was. And so
Was it a longer movie too? I don't remember.
2 hours and 10
it was.
minutes.
It was like two
2 hours
hours,
and 10
but it
minutes, yeah.
didn't really seem like it. Like
No,
the acts blended nicely and it went pretty quick. I think I took a break like once to take a leak, but other than that, I really didn't. The time didn't really bother me.
Yeah, so this movie was filmed in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah. It says that it was filmed in between Laudington, which is like kind of the western PA, and another town here, which I don't know this one, New Wilmington, PA.
Yeah.
Which it looks like that's on the border of Ohio. So, but it's funny that it was filmed in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought the guy who played Poe was great.
Yeah, and the inclusion of and that's the other thing too. Robert Duvall was in this fucking film, and when I saw him, I'm like, oh shit, that's Robert Duvall. So it's like, wow,
Yeah,
the cast is
yeah. It
pretty
was a
fucking
small
amazing.
part, but
Yeah.
still, it was great to see him. In the movie.
Yeah. Also, there is a scene that was cut from the film, and there are some extras in there. John Fetterman appeared as an extra in the background.
Really?
Yeah, and his wife
funny.
Giselle was also an extra in the background too. So.
Probably in the bar because I think that was the only other than
Probably
the hospital.
And I couldn't find them. I looked through it a couple times when I was watching it, and I didn't find them in there. So
That's the Pennsylvania angle on it too, right?
yeah,
I guess, right?
yeah, yeah. So anyway, the film basically is there's a murder, right? And then Christian Bale's character, who turns out like he's an alcoholic. He has a reputation for being an alcoholic, right? Because they bring that up a couple times. Like even though they hired him, it's like your reputation precedes you. And there'll be no.
He's not supposed to be drinking while he's on the job.
Yeah, they're saying there'll be no drinking while you're doing this job.
But they went to him. They went to him. Like they needed him. Like so he's like, I'm gonna drink whatever.
Right. And then it's funny how like in that when they go to the morgue and they talk about he had his neck broken, he's hung, but then like his heart was cut open, and I'm thinking, man, how do you first of all, and they're saying, oh, they cut on an angle as not to just damage the heart, so like damage or scrape the lungs and some other organs, just not to cut. I'm thinking, first of all, how do you cut through bone? And not only that, like doctors have to use like a chest cracker, to pry things open.
Yeah.
So what strength would it take for a human being to pull a chest open to get a heart out?
Yeah, that was the only part that I was like, it was pretty, yeah.
And then the timeline too, like the timeline of that is like they were saying a cadet found him, and then ran to get help, and then when they came back, that's when the body was like the chest was cut open. Right? Or was it it was at the morgue that the chest got cut open?
Yeah.
It was at the morgue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said since the body was dead already, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was the second body that they found that like was hanging and had the heart cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the dude who jumped Poe.
Right. And then that's when the Inspector Landor, he found the piece of a note clutched in the guy's hand.
Yeah. Anyone could have missed that, Doctor.
Well, that's the thing. Like you originally you're thinking, what the fuck is with the doctor? Because even when
how bad is this doctor? He
was
missed
like feeling
two things.
the back of the neck, and he's like, can you feel this and that? And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't notice that. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like what?
Yeah,
I know that
note in his hand.
1830 and medical examiners were far from awesome. Like I was just thinking when I'm watching that scene, it made me think about the Seth MacFarlane film, 1,000 Ways to Die in the Old West, when he goes,
I haven't seen that in a long time.
The doctor says I need an ear nail. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's the shit that went on in the 1800s. Fucking
an ear nail.
A mixture of doctors and voodoo.
Yeah, for sure.
You're bleeding. What you need is a blue jay. You need a blue jay to pick at it.
The medicine man.
Yeah.
Remember? Snake oil.
So then the body was in there. He examined the body, and then he takes the gig. Then he goes to the local pub that he hangs out at, and that's where he meets Poe there drinking at the one table.
Right.
That was some great dialogue. That was one thing I liked about this movie. There's some great dialogue between
and they discovered they could both drink pretty good. Right?
Yeah. They were both pretty sharp.
The funny thing is too the costuming and even that actor that played Poe. If you look at a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, that guy looked pretty close to a young Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, minus the mustache.
Yeah, minus the
mustache. And
it's
funny that he played Dudley Dursley in the Harry Potter movies, and that kid was like chunky as hell. And so I guess if you take all that fat off that kid, That's what he looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
He was really good. I thought he did a great
what
job.
was that other movie that he was in too? He was in.
Other than the Harry Potter movies and this one, I don't know.
No, he was in like a. There was a Western or something. What was that fucking
Oh, yeah?
movie? Oh, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's
He was in
I
that?
didn't
Yes.
watch that. I have it on my
I haven't
list
seen that either.
forever.
You got to watch that movie. It's
I
pretty
haven't
funny.
seen it.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty
Yeah?
good. Yeah. That's
Is it
because I
Coen
remembered
Brothers?
him and I'm
No.
like, wait a minute, what else was he in? He was in The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's right. He was in because that's an anthology film. It's got 4 short stories. I think he was in the
Oh,
third
okay.
short story. It's pretty good.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
It's a very story-driven movie. There's not a ton of action.
No, it's not.
Like it's
Yeah.
But
kind
the
of hard
thing
to
is,
discuss because it.
all the little clues they give you
Yeah.
along the way keep you so intrigued. Like I felt
Right.
so like I didn't want to miss what was going on because I'm trying to piece these clues together in my head.
Yeah, because it's a mystery movie, which so they're dragging you along.
Yeah.
You sort of had an idea about. I did pretty early on about Doc.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
something
well, yeah,
wasn't
'cause the
right with
doctor
that
was
guy.
sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they introduce his family, then you realize that they're a bit. There was something going on there. That first dinner that they had together was.
Yeah.
So Poe goes there and hits it off with the one cadet's sister.
Falls in love with her downright straight. Falls in love with her.
Yeah. And she's got some sort of health issue, but they don't really address it too much right at first. I mean, you can obviously.
It's like just she has seizures, right?
She
Probably.
basically had a
Epilepsy
grand mal
or-
seizure like right in front of him out in the snow.
Yeah. And so one of the guys that's there with the cadets hanging out at the house, he also likes the sister.
Right.
And
Well-
as Poe's on his way home, he gets attacked by this
Yeah,
dude out
fights
of
him.
out of nowhere.
Well, he kind of begins to infiltrate that group, that peer group,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, that drinking competition they had upstairs. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. That was a fun scene.
Because he was trying to figure out more about that group, suspecting that they had something perhaps to do with all of it.
The murder, yeah.
And they
It's like a secret group of guys.
Right,
at the
right.
academy, right?
At the
but then the
academy,
person that he gets attacked by winds up dead the next day too, and then you find out that
Poe knew the first guy that died, and he knows this guy.
and
he
they
just
both
threatened to kill this guy,
he had confrontations with both of them.
and both of them had their hearts taken
Right,
out.
and both of them were killed. Now, the second guy, when they found him, his heart wasn't as neatly taken out. It looked like it was a crack, a really poor job, not as precise as perhaps the
sloppy
first one.
job.
Right.
Yeah, and then within the next 20 minutes or so, another one of the cadets goes missing. But the detective says all of his personal belongings are gone.
Turns
so
out he
we
was
don't
fleeing
think he's
because he
been-
thought maybe since he was part of that same group of boys, he thought he was
Yeah.
next on the list, so he fucking bolted out of town.
So he just disappears, but they don't think he's dead.
I forget what happens after that.
Well, he goes to talk to his he goes down to the ice house and he finds that religious ceremony set up down there.
The drawing on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when he goes to visit Bobby Duvall because that's his homeboy who
He's
knows
like
about
some kind of-
religious symbols.
Then
and
he
stuff
talks
like
about
that.
his
Yeah,
secret.
he's like an early black magic sort of professor.
Yeah, he's reads up on alchemy and
Well, then that's when he talks
shit.
about these sacred
The occult.
occult books that are
Yeah.
very rare and sought after, and
Yeah,
but then that's when they go to the house. He was at their house for dinner, right?
yeah, and the doctor invites him into his study because there's some family drama going on.
Yeah.
And guess what he finds?
Well,
And so they go in there for some scotch or whatever, and he sees that book.
And he also sees that painting of the guy with the symbol
Right.
on his chest, right?
so anyway, there's all kinds of clues and shit. It's a great story. The ending just really surprised the fuck out of me because I thought, oh, they figured it out. It turns out this family, the doctor's family, they were so stressed out over the daughter's illnesses, and there
And
was
he couldn't fix
medical
her.
things that could be done for it. And a specialist, given how few specialists there probably were back then, basically said, "Look, your daughter's going to die in a couple months, right? She's not going to last much longer."
Yeah.
And in desperation, they reached out to apparently their family line has some black magic in it. So they start reading up on these books.
You find that out by the picture on the wall in that book.
They find these rituals. He has this book, and they decide this is how they're going to try and solve her problems. And it turns out he says, "Hey, at first I was like, as a man of medical science, I couldn't look at this. I didn't want to do it, but I was desperate.
And it seemed to be helping.
And with that evidence, I let it happen."
Right. And so he goes there he figures it out, goes there to confront them. She had asked Poe if he really loved her, if he would make a sacrifice for her, and he's laying there spread eagle on a stretcher.
They slit his wrist, and
they're
bleeding him out, and they're using the
to
blood
start their next
the
ritual.
She's got some his blood
and she's there, her brother's there, and the mom who's played by Gillian Anderson's there, and she's a squirrely.
We sort of didn't mention too what happened to Christian Bale's daughter, and I don't know that they talked a lot.
They show flashes here and there. They really don't. They really don't explain that till right there at the end.
You just know that
they give you flashes and she's missing, or she left.
And then he has that vision
gone.
in the middle of the night that he wakes up where she's like scrubbing her dress, like something's wrong on it.
And he's got that necklace of hers hidden in that book, but they don't really ever. No. They just throw you little like bones here and there for some reason.
Tragic happened to his daughter. We don't know what it is. We don't know why he thinks about her or whatever it is. And
that's why
he told Poe that he ran off with a man, that she ran off with a man, and he would likely never see her again.
Yeah. And so so that was basically all you really knew about her, was that he looked like he loved her from the flashbacks, and
while Poe is confronting the doctor, the father, he's like, "Where is Poe? Where is he? He was in the house here with you. Where is he?" And they were like, "I don't know. I don't know where he's at." And then he thinks about, the ice house where he saw the ritual happen, the evidence of a ritual. He goes there and he finds this ritual going on. He stops the ritual. The girl drops a candle. The ice house starts on fire.
Oh, she got taken out, man.
Like, fast. Like,
that fucking beam hit her right in the head.
Killed her.
That was that. I was like, whoa! I wasn't expecting that from that movie.
And then the brother is mourning over her body. He's not going to move. The fucking rest of the building falls on him.
The fence too, right?
And he gets taken out too. He gets like a fire beam dropped on him as well, hard.
Yeah,
the mom was all squirrely.
She was sort of hesitant about what they're doing.
And, but they were kids.
Involved, but you can tell at the house. When he called him out, she's like, I don't.
So he helps her get out then, and it helps Poe out. So Poe and the mom and the constable leave, and so that's
Well, and then
wrapped up.
You feel like the story's over. They solved the mystery. He's talking with the heads of the military academy.
They're thanking him, apologizing for giving him shit. And then he goes back to his cabin.
Yep, goes back to his cabin. The story's over. And then Poe shows up.
And you're like, well, maybe it's just coming there to say thank you for saving my life or whatever.
And it turns out that Poe, in the meantime, though, the one thing we didn't mention is that book, the diary that they found of the one guy that died. And we know that the inspector was figuring some decoding out in that. He figured something out to decode the words of it or whatever's in it. They never touched on that again. He didn't mention it to Poe. He didn't mention it to anybody.
Right. Even when they asked him about it.
Yeah, he
said he was still working on it.
Still working on it. But then Poe confronts him and says, I know what happened here. And it turns out that guy
killed him.
Both of those men.
The first guy and both of them. And then the third one he wanted to kill because he was part of the crew that raped his daughter.
But he didn't have to, because that guy wound up dying in that fire anyway.
Yeah.
But it was like once he said, and then they flash back and they show you what happened. His daughter was raped by those boys in that social group.
Yeah.
and she was so distraught over it. Obviously, in the 1800s, rape is bad, but in the 1800s, it's now like, this is your honor, the honor of your family.
Right. And she's apologizing. She's apologizing to her dad for having been raped.
And she's so distraught over it that she commits suicide. So now not only
jumps right off that beautiful cliff.
He was chasing after her.
Yeah. That not only did he lose his
do.
wife, and they don't ever explain how he lost his wife, but now he lost his daughter and
watched her kill
herself in her anguish. And that drove him basically mad to the point where his only thoughts every day of his life was, how am I going to kill these men? And then it consumed his life to the point where he killed every one of them. And somehow played it so coy, like nobody knew that he was even involved.
It was just his shit luck that when he hung that first dude, that the brother and sister were looking for a heart.
Yeah.
But they swore up and down they wouldn't kill anybody.
Right. Because remember,
well, here, lo and behold, a body just shows up.
And regardless
so they wouldn't
that
cut
it's
the
one
heart
of the
out of that
friends
body
or whatever, but hey, look, here's a body. And the thing about it is, because they mentioned earlier on in the film that there were pigs and cows that were missing hearts, so they must be killing just animals to try and do it, right?
Right. And then this dead body just happens upon them.
And then the second body that had his heart cut open, he did that just to make it look like it was connected to the other, murder.
Right, but he was also one of those. Yeah, he just wanted to kill that guy.
Right.
But he ended up cutting his heart out. Yeah, to make it look like it was the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. It was crazy.
And then the fact is, like, Poe basically says, I have this evidence here.
Yeah, because it was the letter.
The letter that he
It was
wrote.
that letter that he found in his hand, that he found in the hand, that he then compared to the letter that he left to Poe earlier in the movie.
And it turns out you wrote the letter. You drew him out into the woods to kill him. I have all the.
And he said, I wanted you to find me out, which I don't know if that's true or not. Like he's like, I wanted you to be the one, but
then it was like, all right, I'm gonna turn you in. I could end it all here. I'll turn you in. But then Poe just like lights the evidence on fire, burns it away,
and leaves.
And I'm like,
yeah, he said he can't forgive him because of him the love of his life died. But I guess he owed him because he saved his life.
And he said he told Poe too. He said, if you knew my daughter, I think you guys would like.
Yeah. They would have been. Yeah, they were the same person kind of, so they would have gotten along well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ruined it with his vengeance.
Yeah, but wow, what a fucking twist!
And at the end, they leave you, thinking, he either walked away from the cliff or jumped.
Or they don't let you know if he killed himself or.
Well, he went. I think he walked away because he went there with that ribbon from her dress, and he put it in the air and let the air blow it away. And he says, "Rest, my love."
Plus, he has his revenge, right? You wouldn't have gone through all that just to kill yourself, right?
Yeah, true. That's true.
And now nobody.
But that twist.
Now the only person that had evidence and the only person that knew decided not to turn him in and destroyed the evidence. So now he's scot free.
Yep.
What a fucking great film.
It was a really good story.
Absolutely. Like the actors were all great, the filming was great, cinematography was great, the storyline was great. I was really impressed. Now it wasn't necessarily a horror, it was a thriller.
No, there was elements of horror.
Was good, right?
Yeah,
with the occult, with some
but
some Satan.
But it was a good film. I really enjoyed it. I don't understand why its ratings were so low, like 63 and 69%. That seems kind of low for this film.
I think, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the patience to sit through like a drama these days, or at least a drama like there's that fine line between art house drama and dramas that are good for the masses.
Yeah.
And this is a drama I think that would be good for the masses, but
it was good.
You gotta invest a little time into it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think people have that kind of attention span anymore.
So I'm going to say, like, in my view of this film, I would give this a good 3.5 stars. It was a good film.
I was going to give it 4.
Really?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give 4.
Again, it's not a horror per se, but there was enough horror elements to it, and it was eerie, and the vibe for the whole movie was, So I thought it was just a great movie all around. So 4 for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, the story, like you said, the story drives it up to 4 for me.
All right,
sure.
We'll give it the American Nightmare podcast 4-star rating for The Pale Blue Eye. Definitely, if you haven't seen this film and you want to see it, go watch it. It's good. All right, Well, that'll wrap up this month's episode. I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to the American Nightmare podcast. If you have any suggestions for future podcasts or general feedback, you can email us at feedback@the-american-nightmare.com. Visit us on the web at the-american-nightmare.com or Facebook. We are recording this on Riverside FM. It's a very nice tool. We do have an affiliates link that I will post on our website. If you're interested in using this tool, check it out using our affiliates link, and we'll get a little kickback if you decide to sign up with it. And I guess we will see you or you'll hear from us again next month. Thank you for listening.
Peace out.
All right, thanks.